Hey, speaking of ins, we bring in NHL.com's Dan Rosen right now. And Dan, great to see you as always. I figured EJ here, you're here. We were going to do our first power ranking of the season. Not the case. I thought you guys could just argue for 20 minutes.
Is it really great to see him?
It is from my perspective.
Okay.
I'll ask you the same thing. Is it great to see him?
I think it's kind of nice to see him. I don't know if it's great to see him, but
you know, I'm happy to be here. It's a fresh start. We have opening training camps next week. EJ and I are being nice. We're getting along. I mean, wait till October, get some games in. We disagree. Then things go off the rails.
Yeah. Okay. Madison's here. We've got to at least start it off on the right foot. Things spiral downhill.
It can get nasty
real
with me and Dan. It can get nasty.
All right, Dan, we'll start with this. We'll start with the new guy behind the bench in MSG this year, Mike Sullivan. What are your expectations for Sully behind the bench in the Rangers this season?
Well, listen, the expectation for the Rangers this season is to get back to the playoffs, right? That is the expectation. Last season went off the rails. It was bad. It's the second time I've used off the rails, by the way. But Igor Shesterkin at one point, you know, he basically said on breakup day, like, something went wrong. We just broke, and we couldn't get it fixed. So Sullivan comes in. There's a new culture. I don't want to say he's going to change everything because that would, you know, Peter Laviolette, they did reach the Eastern Conference Final 2 years ago with him, right? So there's just going to be a new culture with a new coach. And we were talking to Sidney Crosby at Player Media Tour earlier this week, and Crosby said, if you're going to tell something to the Rangers players, what is it? Work hard. Expect hard work. Expect it to be hard, especially at the start. But Mike Sullivan has gone out since he's gotten the job in May, and he has gone out and he's tried to talk with every player. He went to Sweden to meet one-on-one with Mika Zibanejad. He's had phone calls. His coach-player relationship is key. Establish that early, establish that in training camp, set the culture of what they're looking for, and the expectation is for the Rangers to get back to the playoffs in what really is a wide-open Metropolitan Division.
Yeah, I mean, that's the good news, is that the Metro is kind of wide open for me. I do think I'm bullish on the Rangers for the regular season this year. I think they will improve. But you mentioned Zibanejad, Dan. I mean, he had 20 goals last year. 60 points. I mean, it wasn't a bad year, but, like, he's got to be better. So how does he fit into the Rangers this year with JT Miller for the full season? Is he in the middle? Is he on the wing? What does it look like?
Yeah, I mean, like last year, numbers-wise, it wasn't a bad year for a normal player, but he's not a normal player. He's got to be a better player for the Rangers, and he knows that. So in conversation, I talked with Mike Sullivan over the summer, and he said in his meeting with Mika Zibanejad, Mika told him when JT Miller came in and they started to play together, he started to feel that there was a chemistry there. And at the time, Mika was playing right wing. He was not playing in the middle. But the difference is that they're interchangeable, and that's what he talked about with Mike Sullivan. So that's how they're going to start. It'll be Miller in the middle and Mika Zibanejad on the right wing, but they are interchangeable. Righty-lefty, face-off, take it on your strong side. They both can play down low. They both can play a defensive game. They both can drive, play in the middle. So they can have that chemistry to where, hey, if he's there, okay, I can go here. If I'm going to take a face-off on my strong side, all right, I know who's doing it right now. So technically, yeah, I think it's going to start with Mika Zibanejad on the right wing and JT Miller in the middle. Position-wise, that's how it'll look. Depth chart-wise, that's how it'll look. And they'll play on the same line at the start, but they will play similar roles on that line. It'll be interchangeable.
And you look at a player like Adam Fox, you look at Mike Sullivan's history, right, of helping players break out. I think of maybe Brian Rust and how well he succeeded in the success he's found in the NHL under Sullivan. What kind of opportunity does it provide for Fox to maybe step up a little bit and elevate his game under some new leadership and the new coaching staff?
Well, he's the key. Like, I mean, Shesterkin's the key, no question about it. The goalie's always the key, but they need to get Adam Fox back to being Norris Trophy Adam Fox. Back to being, why are we even questioning if he should be on the Olympic team, Adam Fox? Right now, there's a bit of a question about it. Remember, at the Four Nations, he was not getting a ton of ice time. He did not have a very good season last year. And now I think with Gavrikov and the addition, that was key for Fox. That Adam Fox was a big part of that conversation when they were looking at Gavrikov, because they needed somebody to help Adam Fox to play that solid role on the left side that's going to take the harder ice, take the harder matchup and whatnot, and let Adam Fox be Adam Fox. And that's what they're looking at right now. It was Ryan Lindgren for a very long time, and as a Warrior, no question, nobody's questioning Ryan Lindgren in that sense, but he was beat up. and eventually it kind of just didn't, and it was too much on Adam Fox. With Gavrikov there, they think he can play the role that will allow Adam Fox to go and play a little bit of a freer game, and he is going to be a huge factor, a huge key for this team. If he can get back to being Norris Trophy winning or Norris Trophy contending Adam Fox, that's a huge step for the Rangers in the right direction.
Yeah, it certainly would be. At the beginning of the segment, Dan, we showed the notable ins and outs, and one of the big outs for the Rangers is Chris Kreider, no longer in New York, now with the Anaheim Ducks. What does that mean for a guy like Will Cooley this season?
Well, that's why they got Will Cooley, and they trust Will Cooley to do it, right? Because they could trade a Chris Kreider, and I think the time was right to trade Chris Kreider. Will Cooley is going to play a top 6 role on this team. He's going to play a much more prominent role on this team than he's played the first 2 years of his career. Last year, he had 20 goals, 45 points. He played about 15 minutes a game, but he played, a little bit on the power play and a little bit on the penalty kill. The ice time wasn't really there. He was less than a minute on the power play, just a shade over a minute on the PK. He's going to take that ice time that Kreider got at special teams. That's my opinion. I think he's going to be a net front guy for this team. They're, as Sullivan told me, they're different players, so maybe they don't play exactly the same way and exactly the same role, and things have to change within the structure and the system that they play, especially on the power play. But Will Cooley's a physical presence. He can go to the net. He can drive that way. And that's why they got him. I expect Will Cooley to be up around 18 minutes a night, playing 3 minutes on the power play, playing a minute and a half to 2 minutes on the PK. He's going to have a big role in this team.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to be an important player for the Rangers with Mike Sullivan behind the bench, and I think it's time for him to take another step. Let me ask you about the New York Islanders, right? I mean, they've made the changes they made. They had the first overall pick. They've got new general manager. Patrick Roy returns as the coach. What do you see from the Islanders this year? As we talked at the start, right, Dan? That division is wide open.
That's it. There's an opportunity there for the New York Islanders because the division is so wide open. I mean, the Washington Capitals were great last year, but do we expect the Washington Capitals to be as good as they were last season? Almost everybody had a career year, a better year for the Capitals. Plus, they had the Ovechkin thing going on, right? So maybe they take a step back. You have the Rangers looking to take a step forward. Carolina is still strong. I think the Devils are still strong. Columbus is getting better. The Penguins and the Flyers are kind of still middling there. I think 7 and 8 in that way where they are right now. So, but there's an opportunity here for the Islanders. The question for the Islanders, and I think it's the biggest question going into their season, is can they improve on the special teams? They were 31st on the power play and 31st on the penalty kill last year. You're not winning. You're just not winning if you're losing the special teams battle every single night. So they have to get better in those areas, and if they can improve in those areas and getting Matt Barzal back healthy, it's obviously going to go a long way for that. Jonathan Drouin's going to go a long way to that power play. If they can just be middle of the pack in both of those areas, well, now they got a shot. Maybe they can make up the difference of that 9 or 10 points by just being middle of the pack on the special teams instead of being totally at the bottom of the league.
Well, I've got to ask, since we're here, I've got to give some love to my brothers in the Prudential Center. What's the scouting report on the New Jersey Devils this season?
Time to take the next step. Like, to me, that's what it is right now. Like, they should be, based on their depth chart and their roster, their goaltending, their coaching, and where they're at in their development, they should be a top 3 team in the division. They should be. Last year, injuries just crushed them. Jack Hughes going out for the season in early March was a killer. They had a bunch of injuries in the playoffs. They couldn't compete with Carolina in the playoffs last year because they were just so banged up. Got to stay healthy, and obviously the biggest question for the Devils is, can Jack Hughes stay healthy for an entire season? I think only one time in his career he's played above 60-some-odd games, and that was the year that he had like 99 points, and he played 78 games. So if Jack Hughes can stay healthy, and he's had both shoulders done now, he should be bionic, really. I mean, like it goes a long way for the New Jersey Devils to be able to do that. I like the addition of Brown. I like the addition of Dadonov. But it comes down to Hughes' health, everyone's health there, and the goaltending is solid, so it's not a question anymore.
All right, you were in Vegas at the Player Media Tour, as you pointed out to us, and there was a lot of discussion about the Hughes brothers. Maybe at some point, maybe they would all be under one roof there in New Jersey. What do you make of all that discussion? Luke's still got to get assigned. Obviously, Quinn is out in Vancouver for at least another couple of years. What do you make of all that?
Well, 2/3 of them are in one place right now.
Yeah,
so all you got to do is get the other guy there, right? So it's not like they're in 3 different places. So the odds are better for that. Listen, to me, it comes down to Vancouver and Can they get Quinn Hughes signed? If they can't get Quinn Hughes signed this season at some point, or at least before next season, they have to seriously entertain trading him. It's the same situation that other teams are going through right now, like the Wild. If they can't get Kaprizov signed, they got to entertain trading him. I think it's crazy that he won't sign, that they can't get him signed. But, listen, it's good for him asking for more. Why not, right? Hughes is going to ask for a lot of money. Can Vancouver get it done? Is it right for Vancouver to get it done? And if they can't get it done, well, then the Devils step right in, and look at that. That makes a perfect fit, right? But Quinn Hughes is tied to Vancouver. He speaks about it. I have a lot of things that he says. I have a lot of things I got to do in Vancouver. I'm the captain of the team. We're coming off a bad year. My motivation is in Vancouver. Of course, Jack Hughes is going to say, I want to play with my brother. Why wouldn't he, right? Of course he's going to say that. But it's on Quinn Hughes and it's on the Vancouver Canucks to see if they can make it happen. And to be honest, right now, to me, he's the most important player on the team. You got to get your most important player signed long term.